Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. Let's talk about the Drow. They're popular, they're evil, scheming, and malicious. These dark elves did not always live below the surface of Faerun, they are more or less exiled there. The Drow are a subrace of elves. Much like wood elves or high elves, the Drow have dark gray to obsidian-colored skin with white or yellow hair, but are often depicted with a dark purple skin in art, with white hair. There are two stories involving how the Drow came to be and how they came to live in the Underdark. The Drow once lived on the surface and were a specific tribe of elves known as the Iliathiri. They fought other elves on the surface in the Crown Wars. It was during the Fourth Crown War that the Iliathiri high mages called stones from the sky and caused the earth to boil and the trees to scream. They destroyed the realm of Chantel Othrir, creating refugees from that doomed kingdom. The remaining elven kingdoms could not abide the Iliathiri destroying any more kingdoms, so they banded together. They made a decision to cast out the Iliathiri from Corellon's favor. Performing a powerful ritual, the high mages and clerics of the Seldarin, the good pantheon of elvish deities that follow Corellon, they joined together. This ritual changed the Iliathiri, transformed by Corellon's magic, altering their bodies to match their corrupted souls. The ritual altered unintentionally every dark elf. The corrupted dark elves were then driven underground where they were exiled. The elvish word dehero, which means traitor, was also corrupted and became the word drow. This event was known as the Descent. This was the Forgotten Realms story of the Drow, but there is a larger mythos that was written in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. To start this story, we need to explain Corellon, who is the main deity of the elves. Corellon fought the orc deity Grummish, and Corellon was wounded. From his blood emerged the first elves, which Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes calls primal elves. They were more or less gods, these primal elves, and Corellon began conversing with them, appreciating their ideas. However, one of these primal elves did not wish to live in Corellon's shadow, and her name was Arashini, but later became Lolth. Corellon at this time could change his physical form as all the primal elves could, and Lolth changed that, convincing the primal elves to give up their freedom, their ever-shifting ways, and take static forms, which resemble the elves we know today. Primal elves now saw Corellon as their father and Lolth as their mother, who was the primal elf that shaped their future as now static creatures. Lolth attacked Corellon but was thwarted. In an act of anger, Corellon sent all the primal elves to live in the Feywild and the Prime Material Plane. It appears from the readings that some of the primal elves remained deities, those closest to Corellon and Lolth, while the rest became the first generation of elves. Lolth was cast out to the abyss and took the dark elves and manipulated them for her own agenda. Lolth's worshippers gradually transformed into the Drow, cruel, predatory, and wicked. As punishment, the elves were now mortal and would never be able to return to Corellon's embrace and enjoy eternal life with him. From Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes it says, "The so-called descent of the Drow isn't one moment in history, but the result of conflict between godly powers in an era that has become myth to mortals. My investigations indicate it occurred in different worlds of the material plane at different times. I have even discovered one world, Kryn, where it has yet to come to pass." So perhaps the two stories are one and the same, with the first being more specific to the Forgotten Realms. The Drow are particularly strong in the Moonsea, north and west of Ilthkhazar Range, beneath Kalimshan, and all the way up to Icewind Dale. They are powerful, and few races challenge the Dark Elves' subterranean mastery. The Drow worship Lolth, mainly, or should I say are most well known for worshipping Lolth. There are other evil deities the Drow worship, such as Gonadour and Veyron. Mostly defiant males worship these deities. If a city follows the way of Lolth, then the dark elven population follows certain rules and political structures. There are noble houses that form a ruling council led by the premier high priestess of the first house. Each house is ruled by a high priestess who has the title of matron mother. Drow society with the way of Lolth is matriarchal, and males serve lesser roles. Within these houses is constant, intense, treacherous, and deadly competition to raise the status of said house, or to defend the position of your house that it currently has. Drow society has rules and punishments for traitors, so any attacks or political intrigue must be done in secret. The Drow rule is, if it cannot be proven, then it did not happen. The balance of power can shift easily, weakness is never tolerated within Drow society, and the Dark Elves are always watching their back. Trusting no one, for even your own daughter would betray you to become the next matron mother. Drow life is hard this way. It's lonely, angry, and full of struggle. This is how Lolth likes it, the constant chaos. Lolth has crafted a society that is essentially structured chaos, with her subjects being constantly on alert. Might makes right in Drow society. Laws are there to punish the stupid that get caught. Under all circumstances, the priestess of Lolth will hand out judgment and punishments, often turning males into driders, half spider, half drow creatures, which is considered a fate worse than death. Life can be slightly different outside of a city of Lolth, but the treachery remains within most drow societies. Drow cities are similar to surface cities in that they are laid out horizontally, have buildings, and consist of districts. There are farming areas within the city where cow-like creatures of the Underdark called the Rothae are kept, along with fungi fields. Children are born into darkness. They receive no warmth, kindness, or compassion. It is believed this hardens a drow and prepares them for a life of treachery. Love is considered a weakness that can be used against you. Drow rarely form lasting friendships. From birth, Drow are taught that they are superior to all other races. Those races that lack the strength to defend themselves shall be subjugated into slaves. It is this mentality that keeps the Drow working together to defeat other races to protect Drow society. Despite the infighting between houses, the Drow will always look at each other as better than the rest. And that's it for today. I realize there's so much more to talk about on the Drow. Maybe I'll go into more detail on Lolth and other Drow deities next week. Thanks for watching. A special thanks to all my patrons on Patreon who keep this channel going, and I will see you all in the next video.